Now, lowly adventurer, thank me before I rend you from existence.
Hello there, and welcome to another edition of Performance Check. My name is Rob, and today I'm going to be looking at the different methods that you can use to utilize tone in your role-playing games. So what is tone? What is this tone of which you speak? The general character, attitude, or mood of a place or situation. First of all, I would like you to imagine a party of adventurers trudging down a muddy hill. Rain patters upon their armour and their cloaks as they approach a small seaside town. A thin layer of mist curls about their feet as they approach possible refuge. Now I'd like you to imagine this. A party of adventurers are wandering down a green slope, approaching a quaint seaside town. And as they do so, they look into the air and they see a crystal clear blue sky. And a radiant sun beams down warmth upon them as they approach this ideal setting. Now, you've probably noticed there that I have explained exactly the same scene, only by changing certain elements of the description and the way I was portraying the information to you with my tone of voice and with my mood. You instantly get a feel of a different tone with each of these scenes. Exactly the same setting, however. And it's by doing that that you can influence the players' moods and their perception of what's going on in your game without having to spell it out to them. And these same techniques can be used for any part of your game. So instead of describing a particular scene or a particular setup of an area, let's have a look at perhaps what we could do with some character work using this method. The players enter a tavern because it's D&D. Taverns, it's a thing. They go up to the bar. There's a barkeep. All right, stranger, how you doing there, me old mucker? You want to buy something? You want a pint? Now, with that reaction, already they feel welcome. They feel safe in this tavern. They've been offered food and drink. Let's try it again in a different way.
Stranger, you want to buy something? Food, drink, you want a pint? Then I know some coin.
Nah. Now, that's probably an extreme example of how you can use a particular mood or tone with characters. Now, on one hand, he seems quite friendly. On the other, perhaps the players almost get the feeling like they're being coerced into giving this guy money, even if they didn't want to. It goes from one extreme to the other. And it's a really great way of, once again, making the players feel a little bit uneasy without having to say, you feel a sense of unease. Now imagine if the players leave this tavern and they decide they want to get some information because perhaps that weird barkeep is perhaps a little too weird to what they don't really want to talk to him anymore. So they walk down the road and they see a villager, and the villager says, "Hello there, I don't suppose you could help me, could you?" Or he could be all like, "Hello, I don't suppose you could help me, could you?" Already, there's a complete difference. There's someone who's being generally quite earnest and wants a hand, and there's someone who seems a little bit like, what exactly do you need help with? What's this guy's story? Now, this is something I actually really enjoy doing as a game master, as a DM. Even if that villager isn't a problem, isn't a sinister character, already by giving that kind of tone to that particular character, there's something interesting there. There's something not quite right. And it's far more intriguing that way. And he's not saying anything, he's just asked for help. He just asks for help, but it's the way he asks for help that is interesting. Now that we have an understanding of how certain tones can affect your game in different ways, depending on what kind of game you want to be running or what kind of session you want to be running, now we understand that, let's talk about one of my favourite techniques of using tone in a role-playing game, and that is offsetting the tone.
Offsetting the tone.
let us now return to that tavern with the barkeep. All right, stranger. And it's a happy tavern. He makes you feel welcome. He offers you food, blah, blah, blah. But now we're going to offset the tone. The barkeep asks the players, all right there, strangers, I don't suppose you mind doing a bit of labour for me just to earn yourself a bit of coin. Won't take long, just need something shifting from the basement. And the players will probably think, oh yeah, let's do that for some gold. Gold! All we want is gold. And the barkeep's all like, all right then, strangers, well, if you just like to go into the basement. And they're like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go and do that. That's no problem. We can do that. We're adventurers. This is easy. They go over to the trapdoor and they open the trapdoor and they descend into the basement, and cobwebs hang from the floorboards above them. There is a horrific, rank smell emanating from the corner of the dark cellar room, and as they approach, they discover a decaying body face down upon the ground. The players whirl about and they see the barkeep standing there, silhouetted from the light pouring from the open trapdoor above them. And the barkeep whispers,
well then, strangers, looks like we have a bit of alone time.
Now, what has that achieved? Well, essentially, you've set a tone that is happy and you've made the players feel safe and they're in an environment that they could consider a home, a base, a hub of some type. And you present them with one scenario, one situation that offsets that tone completely. Now, as a DM, I don't like the idea of having to beat players. That isn't the point of being a dungeon master. The point is to tell a decent story. Now, you get a decent story when your players react as your characters do. Because you surprise them with that tonal shift, the characters then act surprised. Now, you can use these techniques in literally any part of your game. It doesn't have to be those exact situations. It could be any scenario you can think of, and it's always effective. And as a DM or a GM or whatever you are, if you're using effective, layered, tonal information, your players will always be able to react accordingly to the situations that you're presenting them with in really fun, dynamic, and unique ways that you will never see at the gaming table ever again.
That's the power of tone.
So, once again, I hope you've enjoyed this particular episode of Performance Check. If you've liked what you've seen, why not check out my other 2 videos? We've all got to start somewhere, okay? Check those out if you like them. Give them a like. Perhaps give me a subscribe as well. Or not. Whatever. Whatever you like, you know. As I always say, we're all friends here. Or are we? I hope you're good. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take it easy. And I hope all of your performances are up to standard.